Every country has that one friend who always orders the most expensive bottle of wine at dinner, but conveniently leaves their wallet at home. When a government spends more than it collects in taxes, it acts exactly the same way. This imbalance is called a fiscal deficit. It is the simple yet problematic gap between the taxes the government collects and the money it actually spends. To cover this deficit, the government pulls out its ultimate tool, a national credit card. Every swipe creates an IOU that must eventually be paid back, often with interest. This isn't just a single charge, it's a lifetime of accumulated IOUs. That tab just keeps growing, and unlike your credit card, this one is tied to every citizen. Governments usually avoid just printing money to pay the bills. Why? Because turning on the printing press leads to a grocery store priced inflation nightmare. Nobody wants to pay $1 million for a carton of eggs. Instead, they use the art of the IOU, known as a sovereign bond. It's essentially the government asking for a loan. They take your cash today and give you a fancy piece of paper promising to pay you back in the future, plus interest. Think of it as a state-sanctioned deal. The government gets the cash it needs to run, and the investor, which could be you, a bank, or even another country, gets a reliable stream of interest payments. It's not just a piece of paper, it's the foundation of global finance. The bond is a promise, and in the world of sovereign debt, that promise is everything. Welcome to the government's favorite mode of transportation, the autopilot. In the world of fiscal policy, some expenses are hard-coded into the system. While tax revenue grows at a polite, steady pace, entitlement spending, like healthcare and pensions, is currently on a permanent, locked-in trajectory. It is the ultimate entitlement squeeze. These bills keep arriving, regardless of who holds the office. It's like an autopilot that only knows how to climb higher, while our tax revenue is just struggling to keep up. Because these costs aren't discretionary, the debt grows on autopilot, leaving leaders with less and less room to maneuver. It is not a bug. It is a feature of an aging population. Governments are betting big on the climate transition. They are borrowing massive amounts of money to fund green energy, hoping it will pay off through future economic growth. It's a high-stakes investment. We are piling up green debt today, betting that clean energy tech will supercharge our economy tomorrow. If these projects spark massive productivity, the debt pays for itself. If they don't, it's just another line item on our national credit card, passed down to future generations. Most countries with a debt-to-GDP ratio over 250% would be in full-blown fiscal panic. By any standard textbook, Japan should be drowning in red ink. Normally, debt is owed to foreign sharks looking for blood. But Japan is different. It's like owing money to your own grandma. Because Japanese citizens hold most of the debt, the system stays miraculously afloat. It is a fascinating, if somewhat eccentric study in high-leverage stability. Everyone obsesses over the debt-to-GDP ratio. It sounds scary, but it's often just noise. The real number that keeps finance ministers awake at night is the interest-to-revenue ratio. Think of this as the government's true scorecard. It measures what percentage of your taxes goes purely to pay the VIG, the interest on what we've already borrowed. When this ratio stays low, we can build bridges and schools. But watch what happens as interest costs climb toward the danger zone. Once we cross that 15% threshold, the game changes. We aren't building bridges anymore. We're just feeding the bondholders. At this point, the government essentially works for the creditors. It's the ultimate debt trap, where you borrow money just to pay the interest on the debt you used to borrow money. Many hope for a magical economic explosion to solve the trillion-dollar debt problem. But reality check. Growth alone is rarely a silver bullet. Instead, experts point to a triple threat, a necessary cocktail of fiscal consolidation, tax reform, and structural shifts. It is essentially trying to fix a leaking roof while the house is on fire. And worst of all, the bank is watching every single move. Grow out of debt? Maybe. But ignoring the structural reality just ensures a steeper path for the future.